There was no one by my bedside. No one cared about my final hours. No family, no friends, only pale walls, an IV drip, and the stale smell of a hospital room. Somewhere in the corridor, the scent of chlorine lingered, and it felt like a funeral wreath lying at my feet. The gray, heavy sky outside crawled low. The wind bent trees, breaking them like children's toys. It tossed birds, turning them in the air, forcing them to scatter. I watched them and understood. This was not just the wind. It was something else. Something merciless, carrying cold and emptiness. They say that before death, people see their lives, recall happy moments. But I had no happy moments, no people worth remembering. Even the illness that ate me from the inside left me indifferent. I didn't remember the diagnosis. I just knew I would die soon. Somewhere beyond the walls, a strange sound echoed, a rustle, then another, as if someone was sliding barefoot across the cold floor. Voices, quiet, whispering like the rustling of autumn leaves. Someone stood by my bed. I opened my eyes slightly. Two figures, one tall and thin, his face paler than a burial shroud, with deep-set black eyes like bottomless pits. His smile was not a smile, a dark gash splitting dead skin. Behind him, wings stirred, but not angelic, no. They looked like twisted, charred branches, brittle and lifeless. His skin was pale to the point of blueness, marbled with veins. His hands were long and skeletal, with black claws, and a thick, dark substance oozed from under his nails, like old blood. Beside him stood another. Shorter, round-faced, with curly red hair, but there was something wrong in his eyes. They were too light, almost white, like a dead fish. His white wings jutted out at odd angles, but the feathers weren't soft. They were covered in something sticky, as if he had crawled through swamp sludge. His face looked childlike, but his mouth was too wide. His smile stretched unnaturally, as if drawn by someone who didn't understand what real happiness looked like.
"She is mine," the tall one hissed, leaning closer. He reeked of decay, of cold grave winds. "No," the other replied. His voice was soft, but steel lay beneath it. "She has not yet chosen. She never chose," the first one sneered. "She always drifted with the current. Let her drift to me."
I listened to them, and a chill ran through me. They were talking about me. These creatures had come for me. I wanted to close my eyes, but I couldn't. The dark one leaned in again, his black eyes pulling me in, into the void, into eternal nothingness. His breath smelled of rot, and I realized he had no tongue, no teeth, only darkness. His breath was icy, as if I were inhaling frozen death, and frost immediately formed on my skin. "Come," he whispered, and the world around me trembled. But then the other stepped forward. His bare feet slapped against the floor, and he jabbed a short finger into the tall one's chest. "She felt," he said. "She could love."
"Love?" The dark one let out a sound, a mix of a chuckle and a groan. The light in the room flickered out. Darkness poured from his mouth like thick smoke. "She didn't cry when others died. She never held anyone's hand. She never prayed. She is mine." Darkness slithered toward me, cold tendrils wrapping around my hands, my neck, my mouth. I couldn't breathe. My temples pounded. Pain surged through my body, along my nerves like an electric shock.
And then something ignited inside me. Number, I don't want to die. Somewhere beneath the gray void of my life, a tiny sprout stirred. Desire, hunger. I remembered the taste of hot tea with biscuits, the scent of river water in summer, the touch of the sun on my face. I remembered how I once laughed. I am alive. Hey, I croaked. I'm staying.
Light returned. The white angel smiled wide, stretching his mouth to his ears, too wide. He flapped his wings, and gray dust scattered from them. The dark one let out a low growl. His eyes flared crimson. "She has chosen," said the white one. "You lost." The dark one's scream was not a sound. It was death wailing in the void. He dissolved, taking the cold and rot with him. The world no longer trembled.
The hospital room was just a hospital room again. Only the old lamp flickered on the ceiling. The doctor quietly stamped my discharge papers. "Miracles happen," he said. "Don't waste your second chance, girl." I exhaled. My skin still remembered the icy tendrils, but inside, I was warm now. I am alive. I will live, and I knew they would come again.